Stock steering wheel is out. It's time to go and install our new carbon fiber steering wheel inside of the car. We're going to be adding back some blue Loctite. So by no means is the stock steering wheel a bad option for a Camaro SS 1LE. But if you have a Camaro SS, an SS 1LE, or a ZL1, you might want to upgrade to some carbon fiber. So we picked up this carbon fiber steering wheel from Windhammer Motorsports. It's got Alcantara on the sides, carbon fiber on the top, and even carbon fiber shift paddles. So the shift paddles in a manual car are actually used for the rev matching feature, but they look pretty damn good. So we're gonna be swapping out our stock SS 1LE steering wheel, which is entirely Alcantara, and the process itself is pretty simple. So you're gonna have essentially two holes that are behind the steering wheel right here. I'm gonna give you guys an up close on that. We're gonna take a small screwdriver and we're gonna go ahead and push it into those holes. So once we go ahead and we push it into the holes, you'll start to feel a spring in the airbag itself. So once you start to feel that spring, you're gonna pull back slightly on the airbag, and then it's gonna release one side, and then you can go ahead and work on the left. So let's go ahead and pull out the airbag. You're going to wanna make sure that you disconnect your battery. We've let the car sit for about 10 minutes. You can press the on-off switch a couple times to make sure that there is no excess battery life still circulating throughout the car. So we went ahead and did that, let the car sit for a bit. Just when handling airbags, you want to be extra careful. You do not want this airbag going off in your face, but as long as the battery is disconnected and you have no power to your vehicle, there is no way that can happen. So let's go ahead and pop off the airbag and then go on to loosening up the stock steering wheel itself. Now there's going to be an audible click once you get it right, so just go ahead and listen for that. Now if you look inside of the airbag itself, you have those two yellow connection points. Those are held in by orange tabs on the left and the right. We're going to use 2 screwdrivers to go ahead and lift up on those orange tabs to pull them right out. And you also have some connections that go straight back inside of the car. But once we get these 2 main connections out, it's going to make it a lot easier to get to the connections behind it. Now after we get the airbag out, you're going to want to make sure to remove any additional wiring or connections that are attaching the steering wheel to the hub back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove all of those, and then we're ready to take out a Torx bolt that is sitting here straight in the middle. Now one important thing to note about that Torx bolt is that you're most likely going to need an impact gun. It is on there extremely tight. Use some blue Loctite from the factory, so you're going to need a bunch of force in order to get that off. So let's go ahead and disconnect everything attached to the steering wheel and get ready to pull it off of the car. That bolt is on there extremely tight. So I have our Ryobi impact gun. It was unable to do it. So the only way I was able to get this off was with a breaker bar and turning the wheel all the way till locked, and then the bolt eventually broke. The thread locker or Loctite they put on this bolt is extremely tight. So just be wary going into this project. You're gonna need either an air-powered impact gun or quite a bit of willpower to push through this. So got the bolt broken loose. Let's go ahead and get it all the way off and move on to the installation of our brand new steering wheel. So if there is one thing out of this whole video that I really want you guys to take away, if you are installing an aftermarket steering wheel, you have to be careful that there's a clock spring right behind the wheel. Now a clock spring is essentially a ribbon that controls all of the functions on the steering wheel, and it gets almost glued to the back of this wheel as you're trying to take it off. There are 2 other YouTubers, Gizmotron as well as Do It With Dan, that just pulled off the steering wheel and the ribbons went everywhere, and it could lead to you having to replace that part. Now, is it the end of the world? No, it's roughly, I think, 60 or 75 bucks, but it's a nightmare when it comes to your steering wheel controls and if you're trying to do this nice, simple, and clean. Now, the way to get around that is when you get to this point and you have the bolt already out, just slowly wiggle the wheel back and forth, and it's going to loosen itself against that rear clock spring. You want to make sure that it's pulling away from it and it's not coming with it. You'll hear the plastic start to crack. You really need to take your time. So we have the wheel off. It's ready to come all the way off the car. The clock spring is separated. I'll show you guys that a little bit up close, where that part is. And also, it's really important to note, you want to keep your clock spring in the same position it was once you pull off the wheel. If it turns one way or the other, it could throw off your entire steering inputs and then break the clock spring in turn. So just make sure you keep everything straight. Make sure this clock spring stays where it is as you're pulling off the wheel, and get ready to install your aftermarket steering wheel in the process. So before we go ahead and reinstall our steering wheel bolt, We're going to be adding back some blue Loctite. That's so the bolt doesn't end up backing out over time. So let's go ahead, apply that, re-socket everything down, reconnect all the wiring harnesses. So if you guys are looking to upgrade your steering wheel at home from your base leather one to either Alcantara or this carbon fiber steering wheel, it's only going to take you around an hour to complete the entire project. Now, two key things that you need to remember is one, disconnect the battery, and number two, shimmy the wheel off away from the clock spring so that you don't damage the part right behind it. Again, this install itself really ties together the interior of the car. It's something that you look at every day and that you touch every day, and that makes the driving experience just that much better. And if you guys did like this video, if you liked our upgrade, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We have weekly uploads where we're upgrading our Camaro SS 1LE, and we also take our car to the track. And we have 2 more track days planned for next month, so stay tuned for all of that content, bring you guys up to speed through the journey of this car. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.